Okay, we're back on this video. I made a change to it since this last video. Just real simple. The K and the M, before the K was lined up right on top of the M in a place I didn't like it. So if it looks slightly different, I widened out the text on the Cody and Laura. I just widened it and recentered it. So if that looks different, I apologize. So now we're at a point where everything essentially that we're going to carve as far as letters and numbers is all there. So this is where it gets a little touchy, and you have to do it in the right order. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new layer, and we're going to call it top text. And that layer is going to represent everything that's going to be on the top. Quite plain and simple. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select our top names. I'm sorry, we want top names to be on. So there's everything that's going to be on top, on the upper layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to select this, and we're not going to move it, we're going to copy it. We're going to copy it to that top layer, top text, right? You can call these layers whatever you want to call them, but I just do it. I know that the two on the bottom are the ones that's going to mean the most. So there we go. And I'm going to take off top names. So now, what's on the top is right there. And this is the money maker. This is the one that actually matters. Because the only thing that matters at this point is what's on the top and what's on the bottom. So there we go. And the reason you keep these top names, bottom names is because if you need to modify, it makes it a whole lot easier, and I'll explain. I guess that'll kind of make sense as you do it. So here's where we are. So there's top text. Now what we need to do is add another layer. We're going to call it bottom. Bottom text. You could call it Myers if you want, because that's what's going to be on the bottom. And close. So the bottom text is Meyer, which is the bottom names. Let's turn off top text, and the only thing that's left is Myers. We're going to send Myers to the bottom text. Right click, copy to layer, bottom text. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to turn off everything. So this represents what's on the bottom, it's lighted up. This represents what's on the top, and it's lighted up. And those two together show you what this is going to look like. However, I can't just put that in there because there's going to be letters on top of it. So here's how you, I guess, basically trick the machine to carve around all the letters that are going to be sitting on top of it. And here's how you do it. You go to top text, and we're going to turn off bottom text. We are going to send this, whoops, sorry, I'm trying to highlight. We're going to send this copy to bottom text. There you go. So now if you light up, take off top, and on bottom text you should see everything. If I light it up, there we go. That's everything that that needs to be worked around. Everything that's highlighted right now. Now, here's where it gets a little hairy, and this is really where you'll screw up. What we need to do is on the bottom text, we have to weld all this together so the computer thinks it's just one giant shape instead of a bunch of letters and swirls. Now right now, Myers is actual text. Okay? The computer knows that it is letters. And how you can prove it is if you go to your text box, if you click on that, it's going to say Myers in that box. There it is, Myers. Okay, that's telling you that the computer knows that it's letters. Okay, so what you need to do, the only way you can weld these things together is if they are curves and not letters. So right click on Myers, convert to curves. Now it's the only thing it recognizes now is a shape and not a letter. So what we need to do, we need to group these together. Everything is, whoops. Now we got all of Myers, and we're going to group it, right click, group those objects. So now we have two separate groups. We have Cody and Laura, that's highlighted, and we have Myers, that's highlighted. And we're clearly working on bottom text. Okay? And I hope I'm saying this in a way that it's understandable. So here's what we got to do. We're going to highlight Cody and Laura and Myers. And we're going to go to this box right here, weld selected vectors. What this is going to do is turn it into just one giant shape. So weld, and that exact look is what you want. When you first do that, you're going to think, oh my gosh, I just screwed it all up. So that is what's going to happen on the bottom layer. So as it's carving, and you can't see my cursor, but as it's carving, it's going to go around all this stuff. So now if you highlight top text and bottom text, you can see what it's going to look like. There's top text, and there's bottom text. Okay, so we got 3 minutes left on this video. The next thing is you want to go to this edit, document variables, and this is really important, okay? I'm going to call this TD, which is top depth, is 0.1. Create. And you're going to create bottom depth, BD, is 0.1. This is going to make it really easy to program. This looks really complicated, but this makes it so easy to program. Okay, we're ready to actually program this thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn on top and bottom. And these top names, bottom names, completely useless right now. An outside border, we really don't need it either. We'll leave it on. I'll show you why. So programming this is actually really easy. So you're going to go to vCarve. We're going to use the 60-degree V-bit as our finish bit. We're going to use a 0.25 end mill. I'm going to select that. There's our 0.25 to clean it out. I'm going to look at my settings. Pass step, step over, all that looks good. Okay. Now, instead of selecting things manually, this is where it gets kind of cool. This is where you kind of get to see the benefit. We're going to use vector selection order. We're going to select manual vectors. So this is where it gets pretty sweet. So we're programming the top right now. I'm going to cut this video short and start another one because I've only got 45 seconds left. Alright, see you on the next video, and we're going to program.